Hello, I'm Bernie Hayes. Today's guest is Chester Deanes Jr. He's the president of FUTRA. We'll be talking about that today on The Bernie Hayes Show. Welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes. My guest is Chester Deanes. Chester, how are you, sir?
I'm fine. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. FUTRA,
Yeah.
F-U-T-R-A, break the chains. What is FUTRA?
FUTRA is Fathers United to Raise Awareness. And Fathers United to Raise Awareness was created during the time of my, shall we say, my life experience and my occupation at the Fathers and Family Support Center.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And the CEO and we had come to a point to understand that we needed to advocate for certain policy changes within the state of Missouri. Mm-hmm. And he gave me the opportunity to create this organization, and we've been doing it ever since 2002 at the Father Support Center, which is now Fathers and Family Support Center.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But I have retired from there as the Executive Vice President of Outreach as of 2017, but I've continued the work in the community. You know, I reach out to my church. At my church, I have a program called Man Up Fatherhood, which meets every Thursday at a certain time in the evening. And I reach out to the fathers, not only at my church, but in the community, who may have issues in reference to their occupation, connecting to their children, substance abuse, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So the whole concept is that we want concerned fathers to understand, let's break these chains of poverty. Let's break these chains of unemployment. Let's break these generational cycle of the father not being engaged in the family. And here lately, because of my other work, I'm working with some mothers. So that's basically what FUTRA is all about.
You know, Mr. Dean, since I've known you, you've been an advocate for not only young men without fathers, not only young women. You've been an advocate for neighborhood structure and self-support and self-sufficiency. And I'm wondering, why did Chester Deanes Jr. get that?
Well, basically, it's just like you, Bernie. We have a foundation, and my foundation is my family, especially my mother and then her father. Her father is Orlegius Tate. And when I seen my grandfather, because our father, the father, my mother's husband, and you know, he didn't stay with us, but my grandfather intervened. And then fortunately, my mother always kept men around me, like if I went to the Boy Scouts, or if I went to the Missionary Baptist Church, and then there was the elders at Union. I saw them and their interactions with families, and that's where it comes from. And all I'm doing is I'm living out what was given to me, you know. And I love that because it keeps you in a good spirit, you know, because as you well know, there's so many things happening in our society that could bring you down, but I'm an optimist, Bernie. You know what I mean? So I don't let that bring me down.
Chester says it highlights that you were founded in 2001. It's a not-for-profit. And gathered 6,788 petition signatures advocating child support changes. What are some of the changes that you are advocating for?
Well, the main change that we advocate for is that we want the state to understand that what they call criminal non-support, the child support payments,
sure,
it's a nonviolent offense. So let's drop the felony charge. When you give a father a felony, you already know what comes after that.
No job.
No jobs, no credit, inability to buy a home, he's disenfranchised. So we asked them, Mr. Sullivan and I went to the Missouri Supreme Court non-support criminal commission court.
Okay.
And from 2010 and 2012, so out of that came the fathering courts. Send the man, the father, through a court process, more like a commission, and then you relegate him to certain tasks. Do not send him to prison. Make sure he gets employment training, family formation, fatherhood component, if he has substance abuse issues, and then direct him to stay on the job. And if he doesn't do that, then send him to prison or put him in jail.
Sure.
But the fathering court has worked. The 22nd Judicial District in the city accepted it, and instead of calling it a child support, they call it contempt of court, and he's up under a 6-month program.
When you were with the Father Support Group, tell us some good stories, man. You know, I used to visit you guys all the time.
Yeah.
I used to come by the building and see what you guys did. Let our listeners and viewers see and hear some of the good things that you've done, especially bringing these fathers back to their children.
Yeah. You know, I'll give you an example, okay?
Okay.
So yesterday evening, I went to the Whitaker Music Festival at 20th Street at Rauschenbach, St. Louis Avenue.
Right.
And there's a mass of people, and it's a blues band playing. Now, as I walked through the audience, wanted to meet one of my friends, William Scott, who has a fatherhood initiative to Texas. But at any rate, guy, Mr. Deans, how you doing? How you doing? He comes up to me, his name is Jerome. Do you remember me? I'm from class 4045. I said, how you doing, brother? He said, I'm doing good. My family's doing good. I said, you got a job? You keeping your job? Man, you all, I said, no, we taught you, but you are keeping the job. And then he goes on to tell me about his children. One of them's graduating in high school. See, you know, that's what also perpetuates the goodness in this.
Yeah.
And then now his family is growing, and he doesn't have, you know, he's already past that issue where he went to prison, and he's keeping his job. Those are just some of the stories, Bernie. I mean, I can go on because it's so good to see that people can make a change, especially when they have it in their heart and they learn how to sacrifice not only for my children, but it's for my family, you know. And see, that's one of the reasons I keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, I got 4 lovely grandchildren, 3 grandsons and granddaughter. And just like the day I went, I said, let me get up and go to the fitness center. I got to stay in shape, man. I take my grandsons out to the park. You know, Jeremiah said, Papa, my feet tired. But I can still do that.
Certainly.
And that's the beauty of it, see? Because if you don't have nothing inside to give, how can you actually give?
How can they reach you, Chester Deans Jr.?
They can reach me at my email location, which is lowercase deans, DEANES.FUTRA@charter.net. And my phone number is 314-210-1005. I haven't created a web page, but these are my connecting numbers.
And FUTRA says, break the change, become a part of FUTRA today. How can one become a part of FUTRA?
Well, first, I would like them to make the call. And currently I'm working with 6 fathers right now.
Okay.
And they are active. They're active in their community. They're active in their family. And we're going to plan certain events around that. But all they have to do is call and say they'd like to have a meeting, let me know whatever their issues are or whatever support they can give, and I'll put them in my registration up under Fathers United to raise awareness.
Okay, and you do get back to them when they call.
Oh, this follow-up is important, Mr. Hayes. Follow-up is important. Without the follow-up, you know, I mean, it's just a conversation.
Okay.
And then we've got to take some action steps. See, that's one of the things that a lot of African-American black men are missing. They got some conversations, but we need some action steps today.
Okay, you know, Chester, you're so easy to talk to. You've always been easy to talk to. You've always been right there for people. And it's just amazing to me the energy that you retain. You, like I said, you're out in the park walking with your grandkids and so forth. And there's always Chester Deans. You know, at the civic meetings, you see a lot of women, see very few men.
Very true.
But I see Chester Deans. And this is why I want to come back and talk about all that.
Yes, sir.
And when we come back, because you've done so much and you're still doing so much. And FUTRA is look like it's going to be the thing that will break the chains.
Yes, sir.
We're the New Life Evangelistic Center. We're 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri, where Reverend Larry Rice is now. And for more than 51 years, almost 52 years, Reverend Rice has been providing services for those in need, and he continues to do so. We need to continue to help and support. We'll be right back with Chester Deans Jr. after this.
As we feel the darkness pressing in upon us, both personal needs and needs in the world, society as a whole, it's easy for us to get depressed. And when we're depressed and negative and feeling hopeless, we're not going to be able to help anyone. That's why I daily have to draw strength from the Word of God. That's why I have to go on walks in the midst of the wonders of God's works. And that's why I have to be able to see something that's worked for many, many years in my life, is that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. That He's with us always, even to the end of the world. And that we can be a light, letting His love and power flow in us and through us in a cold, dark world. There are people hurting out there. There's people that are crying out to God at this particular moment in the midst of their desperation. Can we be led by the Holy Spirit to them? Can we believe God to reach out and let His love flow through us and by faith help them meet their needs? That's the challenges that the Lord gives us in His Word. Experience the joy of really helping somebody else and letting the light and love of Christ shine in you and through you.
It takes many partners to operate New Life Evangelistic Center. We're a large ministry operating and serving so many people all throughout Missouri. And so we appreciate so much Bernie Hayes and his many years of dedicated service to people who are experiencing homelessness all throughout Missouri. But we need people like you to partner with Bernie Hayes and with New Life Evangelistic Center to make a real impact in the lives of people who are hurting now. In a very practical way, you are being the hands and feet of Christ in the streets of St. Louis and Springfield, Missouri, and beyond. So I want to thank everyone who is partnering with New Life Evangelistic Center. I want to challenge you to get involved today for the glory of God and the good of others in our community. Thank you so much. And God bless those who are making a big impact on the lives of hurting people.
Welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes. My guest is the president of FUTRA, F-U-T-R-A, Fathers United to Raise Awareness. How did you come up with the name, first of all, and where are you located?
Well, I'm located in my home, but fortunately, I have meetings at the parsonage at 5501 Boitmer, which is across from my church, Union Memorial United Methodist Church. The pastor is Reverend Dr. Antonio Sellers. I came up with the name because, as I had shared with you earlier, Mr. Sullivan and I were walking the halls at 1401 LaSalle. This is before we got to the new building, but I just needed to have something that was catchy. It's kind of long, but the total understanding that a man needs to recognize, be aware what his conditions are, how things oppress him, the choices that he makes, and in that awareness, let's be productive. So I came up with Fathers United to Raise Awareness, and it has stuck. Man, we have taken the agency, Fathers Support Center and FUTRA, we have taken men to the state capitol to testify any number of issues. Shared parenting, co-parenting, criminal non-support, driver's license issues, because many times when, they're attached to felony, they take a man's driver's license. And, for the legislators to hear the stories from the men that are being oppressed by this and not given an alternative option, I mean, why penalize a person like that when you can give them alternative and then fine them? Take that felony off of there. You can make it a misdemeanor, It's a non-violent crime.
Right.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned twice in this segment and the segment prior to this, your faith, your church. Tell us about your faith. Tell us about Chester's faith.
I, like you, have a foundation, Mr. Hayes. My mother, we're part of the late migration from the South. Mississippi, Macon, Brooksville, Mississippi, and of course, my parents came here for better employment and things of that nature. We lived in the Pruitt-Igoe projects, but my mother was very, shall we say, industrious and a spiritual woman. Even though my father returned to Mississippi, and he never really came back, she just kept perpetuating among myself, my two brothers and two sisters. Okay, let's go to church. Let's stay active in the community. Chester, you got to keep your grades up. Carolyn Yolanda Leston Cedric are looking at you as a model, you know. So with that and my understanding, my mother set me down at the age of 9 and said, look, these are the expectations I have from you. And since then, I understand that, you know. I need to fulfill what she needs for the household and my brothers and sisters, and then the church perpetuates that. See, we used to be in the old, what's the area at Leffingwell and Pine? What is that called? The district down, you know, where
Leffingwell and Pine.
Yeah, Leffingwell and Pine.
You talking about Mills Creek?
Mills Creek.
Sure.
Mills Creek.
Yeah.
Man, and we used to walk to service, man. You know. I was in the boys' choir. We walked from the Pruitt-Igoe Project, go over Elliott Jefferson before Leffingwell and Pine. And, you know, when you have that spiritual component and knowing that your Creator God is going to uplift you, it gives you reinforcement. So that's the reason I speak about my church, you know. It's no different than any other faith, but it reinforces my whole constitution, you know. And especially when I see my grandfather and grandmother and them dealing with 80 acres of land every day, the animals, the produce, all of that's got to be done, and to continue to do it, and then to see my mother do it, and then all my mentors. And you are also a mentor that keeps a man, okay, I see Mr. Hayes go to work every day, he dresses nice, he drives a car, you know, I can do that too.
It's very kind of you.
It's always the model, the positive model behavior in front of any person can make any man change.
I noticed, you know, Brookville and Macon, Mississippi, that's Noxubee County, Mississippi.
That's Noxubee County?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it is. My wife is from Noxubee County.
Oh, okay.
My wife is from Macon, Mississippi.
Macon, Mississippi, okay.
Yeah,
well, we know we close.
And Desta Sanders is also from Macon, Mississippi, Jack Sanders' wife.
All right.
And so my wife's sister was the first black superintendent of schools.
That's wonderful.
There, and my wife was one of the first blacks to get a master's degree from Mississippi State University, although her undergrad was from Valley State, Mississippi Valley State. And but it's just amazing how many people come out of those areas, those district areas, come north, later migration, and do so well. But Chester, you've always been so dedicated, and I keep harping on this because you never wavered, you never faltered. And now how do you deal with the women? Why are so many women attending these civic meetings and social meetings also, but and so few men?
Okay, well, from my understanding, and I'm like you, when I would have these events, because as the community outreach person, you know, I would organize the walk, runs, and rallies for the agency, and I still do it for Fathers United to raise awareness. And of course, you have to list certain vendors that come out, you know, the health departments, employment, substance abuse, educational components, whichever. Then you have events for children or whatever. So when it happens, and as you said, you get more women than men.
Yeah.
And I think part of that is that many of the African American black man has given his crown over to a woman because the woman is the chief nurturer. A man can nurture too.
Sure.
But a woman is a caretaker, and she can't help it. And they always come. But what my mother told me years ago is, you have some of the same characteristics, but you need to practice it. See, many of our men, they go with the macho male image.
Right.
And their level of sensitivity is not what it should be. And then they don't even want to engage with their children because they're so busy drinking, drugging,
watching
driving,
sports.
and watching sports. And they got to be the great, big, hard, fast man, when in essence, it doesn't take all of that. Right. That's one of the reasons. So I break that model when other men start seeing other men being interactive with their children. And I'll give you a good example. You can take any athletic person that's 280, 320 pounds, offensive lineman for a football team. But when he gets engaged with his wonderful wife, 4 or 5 children, and he has to cuddle them, even though he's a brute on the field, he has sensitivity with his loved ones, especially his darling children. See, that's one thing about children. They'll bring out that inner core of a man's kind-heartedness, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons I stay connected to the little ones, because when you see them, and see, all they want is simple joy, too.
Yeah.
That's all they want, and some attachment. Yeah.
So you embrace them.
You embrace them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I share with, when I have parenting classes, I said, don't stand over your children. Get down with them on eye level. And then if you want to correct them, you correct them, but don't beat them down.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you close it out, let them know, say, you know what, little Jamal, I still love you. Can you do what Daddy asked you to do? See, it's a technique in that. We've been taught to corporal punish, and that's not necessarily the way.
Okay.
Okay, yes, sir.
Chester Dean is my guest,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so much wisdom coming out of this man here. It's just totally unbelievable. FUTRA, F-U-T-R-A, and that means that fathers united to raise awareness. And we'll be back with more wisdom from Chester Deanes after this.
These are very difficult times and so many people are giving up. I want you to experience hope in the midst of God's cathedral of creation. And that's why I have a free book that I want to send you. It said hope can begin to flow in your life. And you'll be encouraged to go out in the middle of creation and hear the birds and the trees and all of creation speak hope to you. And I'll send this to you absolutely free of charge. All you have to do is just write me Larry Rice at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. Or you can call 314-421-302 and request your free copy of Experiencing Hope in God's Creation. We need hope right now. And hope is just right there, ready to fill you. You may be in a dark, dirty, lonely place at this moment. I have a whole chapter on that, how seeds are planted there and how they sprout. That and much more, right here. Just write me at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166, and receive your free copy.
Black History subject for today is Leroy Satchel Paige, who was born in Mobile, Alabama in 1906. The lanky 6'3" right-hander quickly became the biggest drawing card in Negro baseball, able to overpower batters with a buggy whip fastball. He could throw the ball right at your knees all day, said Coop Papa Bell. At the age of 42, Paige made his big league debut when Bill Beck signed him to a contract with the Cleveland Indians in 1948. Cleveland won the American League pennant in the one-game playoff against Boston, and Paige became the first African-American pitcher to pitch in the World Series when he worked 2/3 of an inning in Game 5. Paige pitched for the Indians again in 1949, then spent 3 seasons with the St. Louis Browns from 1951 to 53, earning 2 All-Star Game selections. Paige was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1971 as the first electee of the Committee on Negro Baseball Leagues. He passed away June 8, 1982. Age is a question of mind over matter, Paige says. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Leroy Satchel Paige.
The Burning Hayes program is produced at NLEC TV right here at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. It's our headquarters since they closed the 1411 Locust building. We're working to get back into that building. In addition to that, trying to help so many people through a wide variety of safe houses, training programs, transportation assistance, so many ways people are getting help because of all of you that are supporting the work of New Life Evangelistic Center. Now, if you'll send a gift of $25 or more, we want to send you this special, the Burning Hayes Show cup. So when you send your gift, request a cup. We'll be happy to get it off to you. It's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri. That's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org. Now I'm really asking all of you to join us in praying. The needs are so phenomenal at this particular time. So many hurting and homeless people are contacting us daily, but we're able to help them because of each one of you that are praying, caring, and sharing at this time. Tell your families and friends about NLEC TV and get directly involved.
And welcome back. My guest is Chester Deanes Jr., and he is the president of FUTRA. And FUTRA means Fathers United to Raise Awareness. In your mission statement, Mr. Deanes, it says, Fathers United to Raise Awareness is a group of concerned fathers who seek to address issues and concerns relative to father-child relationships. And we advocate for cohesive families, employment, healthy living, financial representation, and education. And we seek equal pay policy changes through legislation that is regarding father and children, child support, social justice, and criminal justice. Now, Bob Demler, our producer, and director, says, what about the real deadbeat fathers, Chester? There are some, and you advocate for those you're trying to reunite, but what about the ones who are really deadbeats? How can we reach them, and how can we serve them?
Well, one of the prime ways to reach them is that there are different organizations similar to mine, and I've just reached out to a group called Men Building Men.
Okay.
And it's open to fathers, and not just the fathers who have child support issues, but for the fathers that don't pay child support. And then we have programs that are involved where we have like the daddy-daughter dance. And even though that parent has not paid child support, but he has daughters, and he hasn't been connected to his daughters. You have to be creative to have programs to where it's now, oh, okay, well, let me take my daughter, and she might be a teenager, and now the mother sees this, and maybe the teenage daughter now is having some kind of conversation with her dad. Like, look, I'm getting ready to go to college, you know, and it's $15,000 a semester or $15,000 a year, so can you help me with that? Sure. And when you have these different programs, the man that had not been paying, if he has a real heart for his daughter, he will pay for the daughter, even though he still hates the mother and won't pay. See, you got to be creative to get these persons involved to see that they still can make a financial supportive impact if only they would drop that hate against the mother.
And that makes a difference.
Oh, it does make a difference, but you just have to be creative. It's just, currently I'm doing a program with the Haven of Grace, and these are pregnant mothers between, they're 18 to 32, I think, right now. And they live in this residence. This is here in the city. Here lately, because the parenting topics we've talked about have been shared, the mothers have shared that with, as they say, the father of my child or my baby daddy. Okay. Yeah. Two of the fathers have come to the meetings. These meetings weren't for the fathers initially. So the coordinator asked me, says, some of these fathers are interested now, see, because when you share information, see, that's one thing about the communication level. Yeah. If the male and the female would drop some of that mess, see, things will happen. Okay. Because, see, the Creator wants us to be man and woman. Okay. See, I mean, it's the natural order.
How can they reach you, and how can they get more information about
Well, of course, they can reach me at my telephone number is 314-210-1005, and my email address is deans.futra@charter.net. And as I said, I haven't created a website. That's something I'm looking into, but if you call me or connect with me, I will return the call, Bernie, because ever since I was a salesman, I believe in follow-up. And you just never know what resource comes after that or what connection that I can make.
Are you on Facebook?
I am on Facebook, FUTRA. Yes, I am on Facebook.
Future. Man, this is just wonderful. You know, we talked about how the idea, how it came about and how you came about. I just want to say, you know, just keep on doing what you're doing, Chester Deanes Jr. FUTRA, Fathers United to Raise Awareness. And I guess that the key word in there is united. Yeah.
You know, united we stand.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Chester Deanes Jr., very personal friend, very good friend for many, many years. Chester, and I know this is a short time to ask you, but what's the future of FUTRA?
The future?
Very short time.
Well, in the future, all we want to do is continue to reach out to those in the community so we can uplift the father parent and the mother parent, because the children, they need to understand you can have a good life. These children have been denied so many resources from good parenting that it affects their education, it affects their choices. Okay. So we're going for it.
Thank you so much, Chester, for spending today with us. And good luck to you. Good luck to FUTRA. And I want to thank each and every one of you for viewing us today, and thank you for supporting the New Life Evangelistic Center and Reverend Larry Rice. I'm Bernie Hayes. Have a great day. Until next time.